Go away. Oh. Hello, my loves. It's Kim again. Thanks so much for joining me for another mukbang. Today, we're going to be eating Hawaiian food. The Hawaiian food is from Yama's Fish Market. I don't really have a story to tell you today, so I'll just talk a little bit about something that I do. I work with a nonprofit, and because of my previous HR background, I am a job coach. So the nonprofit that I work with, they have a program where they have individuals who are coming out of incarceration and need help with resume writing and interview skills to help them find a job. If anyone has done an interview recently, or probably if you just remember your experiences from doing interviews, they can be very stressful and cause a lot of anxiety. But there are also interviews where they just have the most random questions. They're questions you wouldn't even expect, so you really have no idea how to answer them, and that of course is the whole point of the question. For today's video, we're gonna go through a list of some of the most random questions that have been ever asked in interviews. Let's talk a little bit about the food because I'm really excited. I am super hungry. So again, the food is from Yama's Fish Market. So here we have the lau lau. I got mine with pork and chicken, I believe. And then we have this in the front here, which is kalua pig. And then this over to the side here, that is a piece of haupia. This is poi, of course. This is the starch of choice. We've got some chicken long rice here. I know this seems like not that much. I weighed it out. It's actually about 4 ounces. This is squid luau. I know it doesn't look the most appetizing, but if you like coconut milk and you like squid, then this is probably something you would really enjoy. And then of course we have lomi salmon, which is tomato, onion, and salmon all mixed up together, and it tastes delicious and wonderful. And I'm so excited. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna unwrap our lau lau. So lau lau, for those of you who are watching and maybe you are not familiar, lau lau is wrapped with tea leaf and then it's cooked, and then, but the tea leaf is not edible, so you wanna take off the tea leaf. So I'll get rid of this string. This is gonna be, and then, whoa, uh-oh. Okay, so I've got one tea leaf down. Ugh. Okay, oh, uh-oh. Yay, all right. Before we get into any of the questions, let's dig into the food. Oh, so hungry. Okay, so here we have some lau lau. So let me just do a little bite so you can kind of see. So on the inside here, we've got some pork, and then of course some of the taro leaf. Very good. The leaf is very savory. It's very soft, as you can kind of tell as I'm sort of ripping it apart. It's kind of a mushy consistency, but that's kind of what you want. Kalua pig. So I don't know if you guys, here. So that's what the kalua pig looks like. I actually like to dip mine in the poi when I eat it, so if you don't like it that way, don't judge me. If you don't know, poi is made out of taro, basically pounded up taro. It's kind of sour tasting, so I know some people, they add sugar to it, and I know I just told you not to judge me, but if you add sugar to your poi, I'm judging you, okay? Just, if you don't like it, just don't eat it. Why would you ruin it with sugar? I can't. Okay, let's have some of this chicken long rice. That's not as savory as I'm used to, but it's still really good. Squid luau. I know it doesn't look pretty, but if you like coconut milk and if you like squid, then you'll probably enjoy this. It's not too heavy on the coconut milk, but I'm actually not really finding that much squid either, so that's a little bit of a bummer, but it's still good. And of course the lomi salmon. This is another thing that I normally will mix with my poi. Oh, I like their lomi salmon. Let's get some poi in that. Very good. Let's get into some strange questions. Basically, I just Googled random interview questions, and I actually got a couple of lists that came up, but this one is titled Top 25 Weird Questions. Let's get into the first question. How lucky are you and why? I think I'm actually really lucky. I'm very, very lucky. I just have a lot of great people in my life. I'm so fortunate. My family is so supportive. I have great friends, people who take care of me and watch over me and help me out whenever I need it. So that is how lucky I am. I can't imagine that I'm so awesome that I'm like a magnet for good people. So thank you, the powers that be, Lady Luck, for granting me with all these wonderful people in my life. I really like the lau. First of all, it's big. That's definitely one thing where when I get Hawaiian food, if the lau is small, I'm like, this thing better change my life because you're not giving me much of it. So this one is good, and it's a very good portion size, so I'm happy with that. Let's see, let's get some kalua pig and poi. Oh boy. The kalua pig is really good. It's got a really nice smoky flavor. It does taste like it actually is smoked versus like just adding in like that smoke flavor. I think usually when you add in that liquid smoke flavor, it tends to be a little bit more strong. When you actually smoke something, it's more subtle, and it kind of just, you taste it sort of all throughout, and it's a really great experience. I love it. I love smoked meats. Having to eat it like ramen. I forgot to mention this earlier. So I ended up buying the biggest portions of everything just because that's the best value. So there's plate lunches where you can order just kind of like a fixed set. And so that's good too. But when I was looking at the plates, I didn't see kind of everything that I wanted to order, and I was gonna have to order several things a la carte anyway. So I just decided I was gonna order everything a la carte and then just take portions of it, and then that way, you know, I'd have leftovers and that kind of a thing. So the lomi salmon comes this size, the poi comes this size too. There's only one size for each of those, I believe. For the squid luau, chicken long rice, kalua pig, and the haupia, those you can order sort of a la carte and separately. And actually, I think the haupia is only a la carte. I don't think it comes on a plate, if I'm remembering correctly. The kalua pig, chicken long rice, and the squid luau, I ordered the largest portions, which is 22 ounces. And in hindsight, that was probably way too much. But the amount of food that I'm eating today is basically about 4 ounces of each. I have about a little more than 5 portions of that. So it is a lot of food. But if you like Hawaiian food, or if you're not eating alone, if you're eating with other people, then it's probably better to go the a la carte option, because then, you know, you guys can adjust your portion sizes to whatever you want. Let's get into another question. If you were a pizza delivery man, how would you benefit from scissors? Wouldn't you benefit from a scissors no matter what job you had? Like, I'm trying to think of a job where I don't benefit from scissors. Like, I'm gonna have to eat some more. I don't understand how to answer that question. We might have to skip that one, guys. That one's kind of strange. Okay, but that's okay. If every time I get stumped, I start to eat something, this will work out well. So if I was a pizza delivery man, I go to work. When I get there, I'm assuming that I'm told these are the pizzas I gotta deliver, and I go deliver them. But everything's set. You're basically just operating the vehicle and handing over the pizza and then coming back to work. Here's what I think I would say. And I don't know if this is a good answer to that. I think I would say that in general, I think scissors can be useful. Even though I don't see the immediate need for it in my role, I'm sure it couldn't hurt to have it around. And I think if it's something that I was able to carry with me and could have available should I need it, I would utilize it in that regard. So just sort of having a tool prepared whether or not I think I'm gonna need it for most of the time. Hopefully I would say it a little more eloquently than I just did. Anyway, let's move on to another one. Ooh, this is an interesting one. If you could sing one song on American Idol, what would it be? There was a year where American Idol actually did come to Hawaii to audition people. And that was the year that 2 Hawaii people made it in the top 10. I actually auditioned when they came here. I was gonna sing the Star Spangled Banner. It was at Aloha Stadium, and there were all these tents. I think there was maybe about 10 tents lined up. It's kind of distracting because there's 10 tents lined up, and so there's 10 lines of people, and all these people, the tents are close enough where you can actually hear people singing right next to you. It gets to my turn, so I get to the front of the line. There's a person sitting, there's 2 people sitting on a table, and then 1 person standing behind. And so they say, what are you gonna sing for us today? So I said, oh, I'm gonna sing the Star Spangled Banner. And the person standing that's in back of the other 2 people says, no, sing something else. And I was completely not prepared for that because I really only sang in practice the 1 song. Now my mind is racing. I'm like, oh my gosh, what song am I gonna sing? And I said, okay, what if I sing Let's Stay Together by Let's Stay Together. It's that one. So I start singing and I'm so nervous. Of course, this isn't a song I practice. In hindsight, it wasn't the best choice because it's all sort of in that falsetto range. Obviously, I didn't make it. I didn't make it to the next round after that. But I think if I were to do that experience all over again, I still don't know what it would be, honestly. I think if I could do it over again, I would be more prepared. I would have more than 1 song to sing. But just to be clear, that dream has died. I don't think show business in the vocal sense is for me. Mukbangs, I think I have potential. Oh, I know what's missing from the chicken long rice now. I'm used to it being a little bit more gingery. Ginger is one of those flavors that not everybody likes, so maybe they purposely go a little bit light so that more people will enjoy it. But me personally, I like ginger. I mean, as long as I'm not biting into giant chunks of ginger, I really like it. So I think I had a little bit more ginger. Look, a little pig though. Now I ate pretty much all the pork. Now with the chicken, look at that. The bone just like came right out. That's really good. That's another personal test of quality of lau lau is if you get the one with the chicken, if the bone just kind of comes right off, because then that tells you that they've definitely cooked it long enough and it's nice and soft and tender. Because if the meat is still stuck to the bone, then chances are it's not going to be as good. Very good. So the chicken is well flavored. The lau lau is really good. I like it. And the lomi salmon is really nice and salty, which is, for me personally, that's what you want in lomi salmon. Oh, I'm running out of poi. Okay, wait. I need to portion this better. Okay, let's do another question. Are you more of a hunter or gatherer? I would see how the hunter question, like maybe if you're applying for a sales position, I would see how the hunter, you know, they probably want to hear that you're more of a hunter. I would definitely answer that question that I am more of a gatherer. I don't think sales is for me. It's just not something that I think I'm good at. Plus, I just feel really awkward asking people to buy stuff if they clearly are not interested. And I don't necessarily take pride in like persuading people to do something or to buy something if they really don't want to. And I'm not saying that all salespeople do that, but I know that a lot of salespeople can be like that. That's just not for me. So definitely I'm more of a gatherer. And actually, if you've seen the inside of my home, aside from what you see in the borders here, if you've seen like my room, then you know I'm definitely a gatherer. I gather, and I'm a gatherer, I'm a collector. But yeah, oh, definitely a gatherer. We're doing good on the food, so let's do another. If you were a box of cereal, what would you be and why? What? I don't know that. I don't understand the point of that question. So that just means I'm gonna eat some more. If I were a box of cereal, what would I be and why? Okay, I think I would be something crunchy, cause I'm noisy. So probably something crunchy. Probably something with fruit in it, like dried fruit, like, or fruit flavored, like, you know, oh, I can't remember the name of the cereal now, but they have those cereals where they have like those dried bits of fruit. I don't know if it's like a Kellogg's thing or maybe like a Honey Bunches of Oats. I think that's the kind of cereal I'd be. I'd be something crunchy with some fruit. And I'm thinking I would just have fruit because I like fruit. I would be a multifaceted cereal. I don't know. Let's do another question. What? I don't even know how to answer this, but I'm just gonna ask this question. Why is a tennis ball fuzzy? That's such a strange, random question. Why is a tennis ball fuzzy? I'm gonna assume it has something to do with science. And if you've watched my curling video, you know how much I know about science. So we're gonna just skip right over that question. What? Oh, that's a good question. And I feel like I wanna try now. It says, how would you use Yelp to find the number of businesses in the US? I mean, I guess I would just like zoom out on the map and then just search for like current location. And then at the bottom they normally show you like how many pages, and then there's the same number of businesses on the page. So, but then not all businesses have a Yelp page, right? Oh, that's a good one. I think I actually want to try that someday. I don't know how I would use Yelp to find a number of businesses in the US. But I think I'm gonna do what I just said I was gonna do and see what I come up with, because that'll be kind of interesting. Let's do another one, because that one was really fast. If you were 80 years old, what would you tell your children? Ooh, that's an interesting question. I don't have any children, any human children. Okay, don't judge me, but I'm adding my lomi salmon to my poi because now it's gotten to the point where you just want to mix it all up. And actually, normally what happens is I also mix in the Kahlua pig. But for real though, this Kahlua pig is so good. I actually enjoy just eating it by itself. So I'm not going to mix that in. But normally that's what I would do when it gets to like the last couple bites of my Hawaiian food. I would add in the lomi salmon and this and not the squid luau, but if there's like this leftover meat from the lau lau, I would just add it all into the poi and just mix it all up and then just start eating it like that. So that it's almost like my own special Hawaiian poi stew concoction. But you know what? I think I'm gonna add in the chicken long rice. It doesn't have the kind of gingery flavor that I'm used to, and plus it's on kind of the last couple bites anyway. So I think this will just make it easier for me to eat. Okay, wait. So what question was I answering again? If you were 80 years old, what would you tell your children? I'm sure at some point I will become 80. Let's hope I make it there. I think what I would tell children if I were 80 is that there's so much in life that you can experience, and as much as possible, try to be open to those experiences. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying go out and do all these things like that might be bad for you or terrible for you, or hurt, like definitely don't hurt other people. But things like just, you know, traveling and trying foods that you've never had before and that just seem really weird to you. I think doing those kinds of things really builds a full life. I've still got a lot to experience myself, but I hope that if I were ever in a position to give some kind of advice about, you know, what to do with your life, that would be the advice I would give, is just try to experience as much as you can. You never know when some random thing that you've experienced actually will come in handy later. So I think it's also practical. That's what I would say. Oh my gosh. Did I just fly Kahlua pig off my plate? Oh well. It's cool. And my favorite. But I'm gonna have to say number one is the Kahlua pig. It's really good. We've only got kind of one bite left of this, so let's just finish it off. And then a little bit more. Oh my god. Okay, it's still on the table. But I definitely have to wash this. Okay, it's not my shirt. Yay! This is totally what it's like eating with me. I just drop food everywhere and start eating and forget what the heck I'm saying. Let's do another question. If there was a movie produced about your life, who would play you and why? This question recently came up. I'd like to think it would be someone like Sandra Bullock. She seems kind of quirky and silly, but I've seen her just play a lot of different things. Like, you know, like I've seen her in Blind Side, where she's like this Southern mom who basically like whips this guy into shape for football, kind of a thing. But I've also seen her be like really scared and frazzled and not know what to do, like when she was in Gravity. I think that was the name of the movie. Oh, and then when I saw her in The Proposal, where she was dancing in the forest with the guy's grandma, that's just hilarious. She seems like the kind of person that, I mean, if anything, like that we're similar in that regard, that there's a lot of different components that make us up, but when we have to sort of be one thing or do something, that we can commit to that and do that. So like if I have to be serious and I've got to focus and do work, I can do that. But my natural tendency is to be more quirky and kind of just like, oh, what's that? What's going on over there? And just kind of letting things progress and unfold as they normally would, and just sort of seeing what comes out of that, and then hopefully using that experience to kind of, you know, help me in the future in some way, shape, or form. What about you guys? I think that's a good question. So if there was a movie produced about your life, who would play you and why? I really want you guys to answer that question. So if you can think about it and put a comment below, that would be really awesome. Oh my goodness, we actually ran out of good questions out of that list. So you know what? Let's go to a different list. Top 10 oddball interview questions, and it's on Glassdoor. Okay. Ooh, and it says the company that asked it. That's good. Maybe I should have started with this list. Let's have a little bit more. Normally when I eat lao lao, this is what happens is I'm so concerned that I'm not going to finish the leaves that I tend to eat all the leaves, and then I have all this meat left, and I'm not complaining. I love the meat. Of course, like the meat is the awesome part, but that's normally why these things kind of end up in the pot and I just mix it and eat it, because all the ratios are off and it just bothers me that it's all off. So the only way I know to balance ratio is to mix it all together, so I've got a little bit of everything in every bite. Okay. A question that was asked by a company called SpaceX, space and the letter X. When a hot dog expands, in which direction does it split and why? What? On the top? This is definitely feeling like a science question. We're gonna move on. Whole Foods Market, well, this is an interesting question. Whole Foods Market asks, would you rather fight one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses? I know the answer to that question because I don't like birds. I definitely would rather fight 100 duck-sized horses. Ducks are mean. Like, they're really mean birds. Geese are the worst. I think geese are the worst because they're bigger than ducks, but ducks and geese, they are cut from the same cloth. They're both really mean birds. They look so pretty and like gentle and, you know, picturesque because they're just like floating on water, but really they're mean. I definitely would want to fight 100 duck-sized horses. Horses seem like animals that, for the most part, if you just leave them alone, they're fine, and they're just, you know, and hopefully they wouldn't want to fight me. I mean, they seem like an animal. They got really big legs. Actually, hopefully they would flee. I'm thinking they would run away from me. So that's an interesting question. Whole Foods, very, very interesting. Okay. Yeah, the Kahlua pig. That is my vote for the best thing I ate today. Let's put these together. Oh, I also have the haupia left. Okay, we might need to do maybe 2 or possibly 3 more questions. Oh, good one. Okay. Trader Joe's. See, I knew I always liked Trader Joe's. For real though, if Trader Joe's ever comes here, whatever company I'm working for at the time, I'm totally jumping ship and gonna go work for Trader Joe's. So, what would you do if you found a penguin in your freezer and why? Like most of you, there would be this initial level of shock. Like, what the heck is a freaking penguin doing in my freezer? And then there'd just be pure joy. Like after that, so after just like, and then like, I'd just be so happy because it's a penguin. And then I'd start to try to figure out, how is this even possible? Like, how does my freezer have a direct connect to, where are penguins from? Where do penguins live? I don't think it's Antarctica, is it? Oh my gosh. I'm terrible at geography. Don't judge me for that either, okay? There are just things in my life that I'm not good at, and you're gonna have to learn to love me regardless. I think I would take care of it for a little bit, and then I think reason and logic and sense would set in that I'm in no position and have no experience taking care of a penguin. So then I'd probably contact like the zoo or some wildlife humane society. I don't know. That's a cool question though. That the question itself brought me joy. Just the thought of having a penguin in my freezer. I mean, but not all penguins live in the cold, right? Don't some penguins live where it's not really cold? Clearly, I know nothing about penguins. Like, what if that's a penguin that doesn't live in cold? And it's in my freezer, I'd probably be like freaking out. Wow. So we've gotten through all the savory. Let's dig into the sweet. Oh yeah. Ooh, their haupia is really good. It's very creamy. So again, if you never had haupia before, it's kind of like jello. Like, I don't know if you can kind of see that. It's sort of a gelatinous looking kind of a thing. And I've never made it, but I think it's formed similarly. You put it in a tray and you put it in the fridge or freezer. You let it harden, and it just kind of like takes up the shape of whatever you're making it in, similar as you would to jello. And this one is really sweet. It's sweet. It's very creamy. It doesn't taste watery. Sometimes when you get haupia, it tastes more watery with like a coconut flavor. But this one doesn't taste watery at all. This one is really good. Okay, let's do another question. Boston Consulting Group. The question is, if you were a brand, what would be your motto? And I already know. My motto would be, something is better than nothing. I say that a lot. When I say that, I'm normally talking about exercise because I'm trying to constantly get myself to get back into a regular workout routine, and it is tough, people. I mean, I wish fitness was life for me. One of my friends goes to the gym about 3 hours every day, and that's too much. that's too. I don't think I'm even doing 3 hours total in a week. Yeah, no, definitely not. Maybe I'm doing like an hour and a half, 2 hours is really bad, but I don't know if this is a great motto, but it would definitely be something is better than nothing. At least get out there and do something. Don't just sit at home and do nothing, because then you're definitely doing nothing. But if you get out there and you do something, then it's better. I think another one would be make good choices, but you know, I hope a lot of people, that's kind of their motto in life, but you know, or maybe it's just make a choice. Make a choice, and then hopefully it's a good one. This was delicious. I'm so happy. Thank you to my friend who suggested that I get Hawaiian food for my next mukbang, because this was definitely a treat. So I hope you guys enjoyed the questions that we went through today. Interviewing for jobs is really tough. It is very stressful. And especially if you get really random questions like some of the questions that we went through today. What are some of the strangest interview questions that you received? So comment below and share that. I'd love to hear it. But thank you again, guys, for joining me for another mukbang. I will see you folks in a week. Bye. If you had $2,000, how would you double it in 24 hours? Vegas, baby.